Throughout history, societies have grappled with the perils of mounting debt and potential social upheaval. In ancient times, rulers in Babylon introduced debt jubilees to alleviate the burden of indebtedness and prevent violent revolts. Will the U.S. and other nations be pursuing the same route? Let's talk about this. Today, as governments, corporations, and individuals drown in unprecedented levels of debt, the ancient practice of debt jubilees may find a modern resurgence. Are we on the cusp of witnessing a debt jubilee that could reshape the financial landscape altogether? Debt jubilees, as seen in recent events, are not magical solutions that create new wealth. Instead, they involve the redistribution of existing wealth, leading to a much wider gap of winners and losers. Just as the ancient Babylonian rulers enacted debt forgiveness, recent measures such as the Paycheck Protection Plan or the PPP loans, just a few months ago during the COVID-19 pandemic, and President Biden's student loan forgiveness have set the stage for a potential debt jubilee revival. These actions have sparked concerns about inflation, but they have also established a precedent that may be challenging to reverse. Consider the plight of those who acted responsibly, diligently avoiding accumulating student loans or responsibly paying off their debts. With the recent student loan jubilee, these individuals now feel like they are bearing the burden of others' choices. They question the fairness of the situation and demand relief for their own debts, such as credit cards, car loans, and mortgages. This growing resentment and desire for debt relief may push the government to consider further jubilees as more people realize they've been shafted. The question arises, how will the government finance these debt jubilees? Raising taxes alone will be insufficient, and issuing more debt to cancel existing debt will be counterproductive. The most likely course of action appears to be just more currency creation, which in turn can fuel inflation, and as a result, the impending debt jubilees have the potential to exacerbate the already burning flames of inflation. The situation becomes more alarming when examining the consumer debt crisis in the United States as we speak, with debt levels surpassing a staggering $16 trillion. Rising interest rates further burden individuals, making it increasingly challenged to meet their debt obligations. Recent events have shown that a simple stroke of a pen by a president can wipe out billions in debt, amplifying the political pressure to implement further debt relief measures. Given the combination of mounting debt levels and the desire to secure voter support, debt jubilees may become an irresistible tool for politicians this upcoming presidential season. However, the most daunting challenge lies within the U.S. federal government carrying the largest debt burden in history. The debt has grown at an alarming rate, putting the government on the brink of financial collapse. The interest expenses alone are projected to surpass current tax revenues, and a return to historical average interest rates will be insufficient to tackle the inflationary crisis. In this dire situation, a federal debt jubilee of unprecedented scale is increasingly seen as a potential solution. But how will the U.S. government address its insurmountable federal debt burden? Explicitly default on the debt is highly unlikely, as it would jeopardize the country's position as the center of the global financial system. Instead, a stealthy approach involving a federal debt jubilee through inflation appears more feasible. Inflation disproportionately benefits the debtors, as the largest debtor in history, the U.S. government, stands to gain the most from this strategy. Consequently, a massive wave of inflation may accompany the federal debt jubilee as well. At the end of the day, the impending debt jubilee could lead to the eradication of trillions of dollars worth of liabilities and usher in a new era of inflation. This monumental wealth transfer has the potential to reshape the financial landscape and redefine what we would consider winners and losers during this currency reset. Unfortunately, those who have been prudent savers and hold assets tied to government securities such as bonds or creditors may find themselves on the losing end. The impending debt jubilee will leave them grappling with the consequences of their responsible financial choices. On the other hand, debtors and individuals who own valuable, unencumbered assets stand to benefit from this monumental shift massively. It is crucial to recognize the reality of this potential upheaval and take steps to protect one's wealth by diversifying into assets that are not reliant on a single currency or burdened by debt. In these uncertain times, being prepared and positioning oneself wisely may be the key to weathering the storm and emerging on the other side of this debt jubilee with your financial stability intact. Because at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to actual possession of the things you believe that are worth something, which are those assets that retain value and benefit massively when debt gets out of hand and government's irresponsibility forces currencies to reset back to their intrinsic value of zero. And by the time those events happen, that's when most people realize that gold and silver are the best form of storing value during its transition and after everything unwinds. Just thought I would share my thoughts. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. If you found any value, hit that thumbs up button. Share this so more people can get an alternative perspective as to what's really going on. Catch you on the next one.